Hello, I'm Ron Wilson and welcome back to PD Sessions. Changes to superannuation, taxation and social security, announced in the 2013-14 federal budget, will affect the financial services industry. In international news, the US economic outlook has improved across a range of areas, but the Eurozone has recorded a sixth consecutive quarter of decline. In other news, the federal government has finalised its Trans-Tasman Retirement Savings Portability Scheme, and ASIC has updated its regulatory guidance covering the need for an Australian credit licence. Trevor Trahan has the details.
Treasurer Wayne Swan has delivered the federal budget for 2013-14 financial year. Key budget measures that potentially affect financial advice clients are in the areas of superannuation, taxation and social security. In the area of superannuation, there is now a higher concessional contributions cap for those aged 60 and over, changes to excess contributions tax, and to the taxation treatment of deferred lifetime annuities. In taxation, the government will defer the personal income tax cuts and increase the Medicare levy by 0.5% from 1.5% to 2%. In social security, the government will increase the income 3 area for eligible income support recipients from $62 per fortnight to $100 per fortnight. Australia's economic growth will temporarily slow to 2.5% this year, as the weakening of the resources boom impacts expansion, according to the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD. The OECD found the expected weakening of Australia's mining investment boom will only be gradually offset by the sector's increasing export capacity and the strengthening of the non-mining sector. However, Australia's growth rate is expected to pick up to around 3.25% in 2014. Mortgage holders who are pouring money into a savings account could be losing thousands of dollars by not using these funds to repay their mortgage, according to Rate City. Savings accounts have dropped by 177 basis points, while standard variable loan rates have fallen by 156 basis points, on average, since the RBA began cutting the cash rate in November 2011. Turning to international news, China's economic recovery remains fragile as the country's manufacturing activity floundered during May. The Flash China Manufacturing PMI index for May fell to 49.6, showing the first contraction in the manufacturing sector since October 2012. The fall represents a 7-month low and down from 50.4 in April, as new orders, including export orders, dropped. The US economy is showing signs of modest improvement, evidenced by improving consumer confidence about future economic growth, equity market returns, continued job growth, signs of an improving housing market, and a rise in GDP for Q1. The Eurozone economy has declined for a 6th consecutive quarter, with 9 of its 17 countries in recession. The 9 countries in recession were Spain, France, Italy, Finland, Netherlands, Portugal, Cyprus, Greece, and Slovenia. GDP fell by 0.25% in the euro area and by 0.1% in the EU27 during the first quarter of 2013 compared with the previous quarter. The government has finalised its Trans-Tasman Retirement Savings Portability Scheme. The government envisages the following benefits under the scheme. Individuals may transfer their retirement savings between certain Australian superannuation funds and New Zealand KiwiSaver schemes. Participation is voluntary for members and for superannuation funds and schemes. Retirement savings will generally be subject to the host country's rules, with some specific exceptions. Transferred savings must be separately identifiable within the account established in the host country to allow the application of certain source country rules. New Zealand retirement savings transferred to Australia will be treated as non-concessional contributions and subject to the Australian non-concessional cap arrangements on their initial entry to the Australian superannuation system. And New Zealand retirement savings transferred to Australia will generally be preserved until the New Zealand superannuation qualification age, currently 65. ASIC has updated regulatory guidance to assist credit industry professionals ascertain whether they engage in credit activities and need an Australian credit licence. Regulatory Guide 203, Do I Need a Credit Licence?, has been updated to reflect the current form of the National Consumer Credit Protection Act 2009 and National Consumer Credit Protection Regulations 2010, and remove information that is no longer relevant since the end of the transitional registration regime. Provide additional guidance about, and examples to illustrate, the different types of credit activities, and provide additional information about license exemptions, including examples to illustrate the scope of some of the exemptions that are more commonly relied on. APRA's March 2013 quarterly general insurance performance statistics show some strong results for the industry during the first quarter of 2013, with net earned premiums up and incurred claims down. The report showed that for the year to 31 March 2013, total net earned premium was $29.2 billion, including $7.5 billion in the March quarter, an increase of $1.9 billion over the previous year. Total net incurred claims were $18.6 billion, including $5.3 billion in the March quarter, a decrease of $0.2 billion over the previous year. Total investment income was $5.2 billion, an increase of $0.3 billion over the previous year. Net profit after tax was $5.3 billion, including $913 million in the March quarter. The return on net assets was 17.5%, an increase from the previous year's return of 12.3%.